Top of the morning, fight fans. This is Kurt Taville with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Katie Taylor and Delfine Persoon, Part 2. Okay, I seen this fight last night. I wanted to counterpunch it earlier. However, better late than never because of everything else that happened. You know, Katie Taylor had a tough fight with Delfine Persoon. Persoon, once again, is a force to be reckoned with. Katie Taylor, she threw the better shots. It started well, but I think it got dirty and murky after a headbutt in the third or fourth round that, you know, you could clearly see. They did a good job of keeping that swelling down. Delfine Persoon was landing a lot of shots. However, if you wanted to judge that fight by clean precision shots, you would give it to Katie Taylor. However, I think if they would have had a somewhat of a CompuBox system of punches landed and thrown, Delfine Persoon would have outlanded her. You know, she bullied her around. She was the bigger fighter, like always, naturally, but, well, the taller fighter. Whereas Katie Taylor, you know, she had her spots. She countered in there. She was more controlled than the first fight. So did she improve from the first fight? Yes, she did. But did the fight get any easier? No, it did not. It did not get any easier for her. She tried to stay on the back foot, but when she did that, she got bullied around and roughed up. Okay? And in times beat up because she tried to keep Persoon off of her. I feel that her defense did improve because a lot of those big shots that Persoon was throwing, they could have landed, but they didn't. So she was very mindful of those wide looping shots that could have done a lot of damage had they landed. However, the damage was coming. However, we cannot ignore the damage of Persoon's face. Okay, she looked jacked up. I think her nose was broken like she thinks it was broken. Okay, and it was a tough fight. No knockdowns or anything, just a tough fight. 10 rounds of championship boxing for these two ladies, and the undisputed fighter won. Now, here's the thing. My problem with this fight is not necessarily the decision, but the way the decision was made. Okay, if it was closer, I get it. But some judge had it way off the rocker. I mean, unanimous decision. If it was something of a split or majority or just at least closer in the scorecards, that would convince me that this fight was actually scored the way it's supposed to be scored. It seems like to me, based on what I saw last night, based on what I witnessed last night from the whole bulk of these fights, that it was a favored hometown fight. You know, so the hometown fighter was favored in this fight, in other words. And I seen that from the first fight with Cullen and Shelley, you know, and I was like, okay, that's not a draw. In this fight, okay, Katie Taylor, she did a good job. You know, she had to deal with somebody that was roughing her up, punching, giving her aggression, and it kept going. It was relentless, okay? So the good thing is, I think maybe they scored the way her face looked, you know, because that happens a lot of times with judges. You know, they see a certain scar or bruise or cut or welt, and then what they do, they base that on of, okay, well, based on that, that means, you know, a punch had to do this, which in that case, a left hook did draw first blood on Persoon, and it looked bad, okay? But again, I think she has the Tiro Gotti skin, okay? But she did put up a good challenge, a good fight. I just think the scores were just scored the way they wanted to score it, okay? You know, and Katie Taylor said herself, if they asked her if she wanted a third fight, she was like, give me a break. This is always going to be a tough fight for this chick, fighting this chick. It was the same way in Madison Square Garden. It's the same way tonight in the UK. Okay, so I don't know about a third fight. This is just one tough cookie here, you know. And here's the kicker, though. Before people start to trip, the Persoon herself didn't have any objections of the fight. She was okay with the decision. So, You know, if she felt she was defeated, there's no reason to argue about what someone else feels. Okay, she was in there. We weren't. But anyway, that's my take on Katie Taylor versus Delfine Persoon. You guys tell me what you think about this fight and the decision. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.